Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To our beloved lecturer Puan Sharifah, our group will present about dam construction as our topic. Before I'm going further, let me introduce myself first. My name is Nurmisa Wahyuni binti Iskandar and I will present introduction of dam. Okay, what is dam? Dam can be defined as a structure that constructs across a river as a barrier for collection water. So there are several purposes of dams such as water storage, water supply, irrigation activity such as plantation, hydroelectric power, and flood control especially during heavy rain. Now I will pass this presentation to next presenter.
Assalamualaikum and very good day. My name is Ahmad Hakim bin Muhammad Desa, and for my turn, I will present the type of dam. The appropriate form of dam for site require careful evaluation of the characteristic of each type in respect to the physical elements of the site. Adaptability to the function. The dam is designed to serve safety, economic, and other relevant considerations. There are two types of dam, which embankment dam and concrete dam. Embankment dams are mostly made of a natural material and can be divided into two types based on the type of soil used as construction material, such as earth-fill dams and rock-fill dams. A concrete dam is the most powerful type of dam that built in the modern times and can take several forms. Concrete dams are construction material composed of water, cement, sand, and gravel or aggregate. And concrete dam also can be classified into three types of dam, which gravity dam, arch dam, and buttress dam. For the next slide is the component of dam. First is foundation. Foundation is to provide solid support for the entire dam. Second, upstream phase. It is the level of the water reservoir held back by the dam is measured upstream of the dam. Third, downstream phase. It is a stretch of the stream below or down the dam. Next is crest. Crest is the dam's top plane surface. It is the dam overflow section. Next is embankment. Embankment are formed by the rock mass on the river right and left side. Next is embankment. The embankment is the primary component of the dam, and it is commonly referred to as the dam. Next, toe. The toe is the structure that remains in contact with the riverbed on the downstream slope. Then, the spillway. The spillway is structure over or through which storm or flood flow from the reservoir after its discharge. Last is riprap. Riprap is the random layer of stone, such as rock, or precast block that laid on the upstream slope.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Haji Husaini. Now I will continue presenting for my part, which is design consideration. Alright, firstly I would like to say that in the construction industry, design consideration is important because it determines how we determine the building in many factors and function for the future use. Alright, for the dam construction, design consideration I have listed for 14, which is the first one is permeability of surrounding rock and soil, and earthquake fault, peak flood flows, reservoir silting, environmental impact on river, fisheries, forests, and wildlife. Then we have impact on human habitation, compensation for land being flooded, as well as population resettlement. Then we have removal of toxic material and building from proposed reservoir area. Then simplicity in design and construction, and type of viability of material use, topography and location of site, resistance of force, flexibility toward the movement, and lastly we have frequency of maintenance work. Continue with the design consideration. I have listed that the three factors to be considered for design consideration, which is the first one is safety, which is the health of water fluid for the dam construction, imposed threat on the society property, and the environment because of dam construction. The hazard and the advantage of dam and reservoir differ depending on the dam. Alright, then we have the second factor, which is cost. Then cost must be parallel to the safety. The design attention to the building must be function with the integrity, considering that the project objective and the eventual consequences of the fellow humans. Alright, then the last factor, which is the environmental, which is the the importance of environmental losses should be evaluated in terms of whether environmental restoration is feasible and how long it will take.
Thank you, Haziq, for your explanation. For this section, I will present about method of construction. There is 4 types of method construction, such as conventional method, roller compacted concrete method, float-in construction, and field cellular sheet pile cell method. For conventional method, it is suitable for most types of soil. It also suitable for small and medium-sized dam in order to meet the economical cost. Next is a roller compacted concrete method. This method is not suitable for alkaline soil and high rise when constructed. However, it is a faster method in construction dam. This method also suitable for medium and large size. Other than that is flow-in construction. This method is suitable for soil that has high bearing capacity. This method do not require dewatering from site. However, this method has high risk, therefore, it requires extra protection during work. Next is a field cellular sheet pile cell method, which normally applied in construct dry dock and cover dam. This method is using wet method which require long period construction. Next, I will pass to Iza to explain about construction process.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Iza Erdina and I will be presenting the construction process of a conventional dam. After the procedures that is mentioned by Misa, such as site selection and design, the first step into constructing a dam is changing the course of the river. This is done by diverting the streams and rivers to create a dry area to construct the dam, by excavating soft soils and rocks, and blasting harder rocks to form a root so that the construction can take place. Next is preparing the dam's foundation. The dams need to be built on a soil or rock foundation that is strong enough to support the weight of the dam and the water pressure. Moving on to the construction of the dam, I'll be presenting 2 mainly used dams in the construction industry. Firstly, concrete dam, which requires a large amount of concrete, which is mixed at a concrete batching plant on the construction site. A large dam requires multiple batching plants. Next, the concrete is poured into former mold, which is built in the shape of the dam. The former is built in stages of 1 to 2 meters at a time until it reaches the full height of the dam. The other type is embankment dam. It is built in layers with fill materials transported by trucks and spread by bulldozers. The thickness of each layer varies and then compacted by using rollers. A core layer is also added to protect height, protect from waves, and also provide waterproofing. Lastly, the water is then added back into the reservoir. It is ensured that the valves and floodgates function properly and observing the behavior of the freshly constructed dam to ensure that the dam works properly.
My name is Nur Atira and I will continue with the material and cost. Soil and rock is the main material that has been using for dam construction. Gravel, seed, which is also very fine, sand that range from fine to coarse, with the fine grains being the smallest soil particle human eyes can see, and clay are the smallest submicroscopic soil particles. Next is clay. The clay is less permeable to water as a result of its fine size and plastic tendency. The dam can be constructed with an impervious core or central zone that prohibits water from passing through if its clay is nearby. Otherwise, the dam must be constructed with diverse combination of materials that allow water to seep slowly and safely through its zones. Besides that, water also one of the main material compaction characteristic of the various soil types can be measured in a lab and applied during construction. Once the proper amount of water has been injected, thick layers of soil are pressed into position by large vibrating rollers. And lastly, field dams are increasingly made up of geotextile and geomembranes as well. As the dam is raised, they can be positioned in between leaves to strengthen the weak elements. Next is basic cost used. For the first one is equipment operating costs. Equipment running costs are those incurred when using a piece of equipment, such as field repair, full cost, ground engagement and energy costs. Second is consumable, drill bits, saw blades and other common operating expendable with significant variable where rates have separate costs. And the last one is small tools. Percentage of the labor cost should be used to estimate the cost of small power and hand tools, other non-capitalized equipment and supplies.
Okay, now I will present about background of Mengkuang Dam. Mengkuang Dam has been constructed at Central Seberang Perai, Penang. The capacity of dam is a 22 million cubic meter as the raw sources of water for Penang people to supply the water. However, due to increasing population in Penang, government take initiative to expand and construct the new dam to avoid the issue of crisis water in the state, especially during the dry season. The construction of new dam allocate to 73.5 million cubic meter. This construction has divided into two phases, such as Phase 1 for the construction new dam and related works, while Phase 2 for transport pipeline and pump station. Next is the parties involved in expansion Mengkuang Dam. These parties involved is for Phase 1 of the construction. Now, I will pass this presentation to next presenter.
We continue with the material used in this case study. First, the fine granite soil. Fine granite soil is used in the Mengkuang Dam, has low permeability, low shear strength, and high compressibility. The compressibility of fine granite soil for Mengkuang Dam is determined by the soil properties and placement condition. Next, coarse granite soil. Coarse granite soil are used in structural fill zone or shell, as well as accessibility, filter, and drain zone within Mengkuang Dam. Coarse granite soil is particularly vulnerable to surface erosion caused by the wave action and surface runoff. Next, broadly graded soil. Broadly graded soil is a typical very resistant to earthquake damage and are therefore ideal for building embankment on for every embankment construction. Next material is clay. Clay mineral can be that used in construction can be swelled when it's wet and shrink when it's dry, so it's very suitable for this embankment construction. Next is rock fill. The possibility of the zone at fill dam or rock fill dam like this Mengkuang Dam with a watertight core can be taken into consideration if there is a limited supply or impermeable material. I think that's all from me. We continue with the next presenter.
The next part of mine, which is the type of construction, and the type of construction proposed for this case study is embankment, which is the new tower to be constructed, the new valve house to be proposed, and then for this project was proposed into two phases of scope of project. Then for the first phase of construction of the embankment was construction start at the left side of the storage at the left valley. Then the embankment window that can be divided into two, which is rock fill and earth fill. Then this case study was using rock fill and earth fill for the Mengkuang Dam. Alright, then the embankment then assisted with the supported part of dam, which is the construction of the tower with a draw of calm diversion tunnel from tower to the valve house by using existing raw water pipeline.
Next, I will continue with the construction process of Mengkuang Dam. Has divided by 3 stages. So for the first stage is excavate and treat the foundation of the dam, followed by construct concrete cut-off wall and construct for cement grout certain inside the dam foundation. Second stage is build the following structure: the dam shoulder zone 1A, the clay core zone 1, the chimney filter and filter blanket zone 2A, and the upstream riprap and the downstream rock berm. And the final stage, which is stage 3, is full dam embankment up to EL 56.60 cm crest level. Heightening of the existing Mengkuang Dam, also divided by 3 stages. The first stage is move the water from one reservoir to another reservoir. Construct new temporary river diversion project and cover dam. Third, disassemble the culvert outlet and spillway pipes. And lastly is dismantling of the current draw of tower and valve house. Second stage is firstly straighten the current draw of culvert, then followed by build the draw of tower number 1, excavate and treat the foundation of dam, and last is enlarge the draw of culvert and build valve house 1. And for the final stage, which is stage 3, build the concrete cut-off wall, construct cement grout certain accordingly, and the last one is to heighten the existing and according to the level. That's all from me. Thank you.
Third problem is the scarcity of earthfill and filter materials. Due to the sheer size of this project, the earthfill materials that is needed for this construction project is a lot, and 2 million per meter cube of earthfill materials has been imported from outside sources. To solve this problem, the contractor eventually made an investment in rock crushing equipment and established a filter processing plant. Lastly, risk of raw water supply interruption from the existing dam. The safety of the existing dam was at risk due to high water pressure during foundation excavation. It is then lowered to mitigate the risk, but it risks the lowered amount of water supply to a treatment plant. So, to solve this problem, state and federal government cooperate and set an alternative water source as backup. It is then lowered back in 2014 to proceed with the expansion project. Thank you, Haziq. Now we're presenting the problems encountered and steps taken to solve them. The first problem is the effect of commercial quarrying on the dam construction. In 2012, ground movements were detected at the dam site due to rock blasting activities at the Weng Li quarry. There were questions on the limits of vibration from the quarry operation to the condition of the dam. The government then decided to acquire the quarry land, and it is solved in 2014. The next problem is due to rock mining at the quarry, there is a risk of leakage at the new dam's left abutment. Heavy jointed and sheared zones in the rock mass facing the quarry were identified as potential leakage paths for the dam reservoir. Several tests were conducted to calculate the risk of the leakage. Due to these tests, measures were taken such as variation orders to help resolve the risk of leakage exiting the excavated quarry face.
As a conclusion, construction dams in this construction industry are very important. It can help the country in terms of safety, where it can control the level and contribution of the water. In this case study, Mengkuang dams, during the construction, many opportunities have created, such as job opportunity for individuals involved in construction industry. And from these completed construction dams, Mengkuang dams can be used by society, such storing water and reservoir to supply water, and proper recreational facilities and park for public visit. That's all from us. Thank you.
Move on for the next part, which is the recommendation. Alright, for the recommendation that's suggested for the Mengkuang Dam, I have listed 4, which is the first one, we have the maintenance, and the second one, remain the building for the long-term use. Then the third one is provide the job opportunities with the different trade and services, and the last one is for growth of economy, which is the government should open the tourism for the visit.